Welcome to Science Access. In today's class, we'll be talking about the parasitic Sarcodina. I'll be discussing details about Entamoeba histolytica. The parasitic Sarcodina are actually parasitic protozoas that move with the help of the pseudopodia, or what we call the first foot or first feet, depending if they are one or two. All right. The classification of the Entamoeba histolytica is actually being displayed on the board, and we realize that they actually belong to the family Entamoebidae. Now, what is the unique thing about this family Entamoebidae is the fact that they are actually parasitic to the gastrointestinal system of arthropod and vertebrate. All right, take note of that. They are what? Parasitic to the what? Intestine of what? Arthropod and what? And vertebrate. Note that. Now, under the family Entamoebidae, we have various what? Genus present under this family. We have the genus which is Entamoeba. We also have the Endolimax and various others present in this under the family Entamoebidae. All right. Now, under this genus Entamoeba, we have various species also. We have the Entamoeba histolytica, we have the Entamoeba coli, we have the Entamoeba gingivalis, and various other species. So let's now narrow down to what Entamoeba histolytica. Note, before we talk about the Entamoeba histolytica, various species of Entamoeba and their host is being displayed on the board. Please take note of that. You know that the Entamoeba histolytica is the parasite, while the host is actually the man, humans. Then we also know that Entamoeba coli is a parasite. The host is also what? Humans or man. The same apply to gingivalis. We have various species being highlighted on the board and their host. Let's talk about the Entamoeba histolytica. Now, the Entamoeba histolytica is actually the parasite that causes the popular disease amoebiasis or the amoeboic dysentery. Take note of that. Let's discuss their morphology. The Entamoeba histolytica has two forms, the cyst form and the trophozoite form. We know that this trophozoite form is actually the large form that is motile, carry out feeding activities and all that. All right. Note the diagram of the trophozoite is being displayed on the board, and they possesses what? One nucleus. Their shape is actually irregular. You know, amoeba, remember the fact that amoeba, they are shapeless, they can easily change their shape. So their shape is actually what? Irregular. In some cases, they can take the form of an ovoid or even a spherical what? Shape. Note the fact that they possess a single nucleus, as you can see from the diagram. Note the fact that they possess a single nucleus, as you can see from the diagram. What about the cyst form? The cyst form is actually multinucleated. You can see from the diagram that it possesses 4 nuclei and it has a protective what? Covering. Let's talk about the life cycle of Entamoeba histolytica. Now, as you can see from the diagram, the effective stage of the life cycle is actually the cyst stage. Now, when humans take in contaminated water or food, this cyst gets into the body of humans and passes through the gut and passes through the mouth, through the stomach, into the intestine. Note that in the intestine, the cyst undergo what we call encystation. That means removal of the thick wall of the cyst, and a trophozoite is released. This trophozoite is the one that actually causes a lot of damage in the intestine of human being. Now, after various activities, which we'll discuss, various pathogenetic activities, which we'll discuss in our next subtopic, pathogenicity of this insect, pathogenicity of this parasite. After various activities, the cyst can also undergo what we call encystation when moving down. And encystation means the formation of a new cyst or formation of what? A cyst. Now, note that why it is important for this cyst to be formed is that once this organism is passed out, this parasite is passed out of the body, the cyst form have the ability to withstand harsh environmental conditions. So, in preparation for this harsh environmental condition outside the body of the living organism, the trophozoite undergo what we call encystation, forming cyst, and this cyst is passed out of the body. As you can see from the diagram, the cyst is actually injected into the mouth and passes through the body into the what? Intestine, where it is trophozoite stage is released after undergoing what we call encystation. That's the removal of the thick wall and releasing the trophozoite. Now, after various activities in the small intestine or in the intestine, the cyst undergo what we call encystation again, formation of a cyst, which is released through what the physics, and the cycle can what begin again. Let's discuss the pathogenicity of this parasite. Now, this is where we'll talk about various activities that occur in the intestine. Note that the trophozoite stage is a free motile feeding stage of this parasite, and this stage is responsible for the disease called what? Amoebosis or amoeboic what? Dysentery. How does this happen? This stage can release or can produce an enzyme, the cystic what? Protease, which is capable of what? Breaking down the intestinal what? Wall. And this enables the parasite to move deeper into what? The intestinal what? Wall. Take note of this. Now, this can further result to what? Ulceration, formation of what? Ulcer in what? The intestine. That means causing a lot of what? Tissue damage and various activities in the intestine. This has a lot of clinical what? Symptoms such as dehydration, loss of appetite, diarrhea, and a lot of symptoms being highlighted on the board. After various damages being done by this trophozoite stage, when the condition is right, it actually undergoes what we call encystation, which they are now passed out of the body, which I've discussed during the what? Life cycle of these stages. Let's talk about the epidemiology of Entamoeba histolytica. It's actually a global disease, right? But it's actually more prevalent in tropical and subtropical region. The spread actually is enhanced through poor hygienic condition, and transmission is actually through the oral fecal route. That means contaminated, you can take it in through what? Contaminated food and what? Water, and the infected person normally passes out through what? The fecal what? Route. All right. Please take note. The transmission is actually through what? The oral fecal what? Route. Note some of the risk factors: poor hygiene, poor personal sanitation, dirty environment, and because of this factor, the infection is actually more prevalent in rural or environments as well as developing what? Countries. What is the treatment that is actually administered? The popular treatment is the flagyl metronidazole. It's a popular treatment that is being applied in handling this case. We also have the trinidazole, we have the chloroquine, as well as the emethine hydrochlorate. All right, those are some of the treatment that can easily be administered to take care of this disease. What is the prevention and control? How do we prevent or control this disease? Note, the most important thing is personal hygiene, environmental hygiene, public health awareness on how this infection can be what? Transmitted. Note that ensuring good sanitation in terms of your food and water will actually reduce what? The spread of what? This what? Disease. This is the end of this lecture on parasitology. Please subscribe to support this channel. Thank you.